I call this committee of the whole meeting to order here in council chambers at 6 p.m. I do not believe we have any remote electronic attendance this week, correct? Great,
Correct.
and there's no public comment, correct?
Correct.
All right, so we move to presentation. U.S. Department of Justice Office of Community Oriented Policing Services for the 2021 COPS Office School Violence Prevention Program Grant. Chief Galt.
No, go ahead, Chief. This is your baby. New program, new money.
All right. Thank you. Just real briefly, just wanted to let you know, back in June, I was here asking your permission to apply for a U.S. Department of Justice grant through the COPS office in partnership with the Moline School District in their School Violence Prevention Program grant. We were awarded that grant, which is very exciting. Upon award and receipt of this funding, we will pay the school district $12,241 as its portion of the grant for an Omni Alert emergency alerting platform that will be rolled out district-wide. The school district will then pay a 25% match of $4,080 and any associated costs to complete that project. We will retain $99,503 to expand our Vigilon camera deployment portion of the project. The city will be responsible for 25% match of $33,168 and any associated costs to deploy that camera program. To give you a little visual of what we're doing with that is we have partnered with the school district to identify all of these school locations to install, and I think there's one at Seton as well, to install a camera at roughly the crosswalks or the school crossing areas at each school. And you can see all the schools listed there, the intersections, and then the poles that the cameras will be hung on. So there's roughly one at each school. I think there's a couple schools like Lincoln Irving, Washington, John Deere, and the high school that have some multiple locations due to their campus size, as you can tell. And then the high school and Roosevelt share that entrance there. So I'll give you a, can you go one more slide? This is working. Those are the locations of all of the schools in the city that will be covered by this platform. The good thing is, as you know, we rolled this out last year, and we already have the infrastructure built. We have the servers, the cloud space, the electrical in our main hub. Working with IT, we're able to get those the switches and all the electronics to receive this. So it's really hardware and electrical. There are some electricals, about $30,000 worth of electrical at all of the different locations to install those cameras, and then about $100,000 in total camera hardware. So it's $30,000 even was the electrical quote, and then $102,672 for the actual camera hardware. So we just wanted to let you know it's certainly exciting that we were a recipient of that grant. We were able to, we had this in our plan to eventually get to this project, and the federal government was able to give us $100,000 to get that off the ground for just $30,000 roughly for the city's expense. So I know the school district, on behalf of Dr. Savage, we've been in contact with her. She's very excited about this, very excited about the sub-recipient award as well for them to get Omni Alert going to do emergency alerting for active shooters or threats to the school districts and get that out to their people. So again, our collaboration and our cooperation with the school district is very close. I'm very thankful for the relationship that we have with the schools, and we're excited to provide enhanced security to our students and citizens that attend our schools in the city of Moline.
Thank you. Questions? Mr. Smith.
Chief, for each of those intersections, then are they covering all directions of the intersection, or are they directional to just certain places?
Yeah, so each head of the camera post has 4 lenses on it.
Okay.
So roughly the entire area there, and that, but it's one post with 4 lenses on it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank
All
you
right,
so
thank
much.
you.
Questions on the agenda? Seeing none. Agenda items number 1, annual equitable sharing agreement and certification. Mr. Dupas?
Sure, I'd be happy to bring that up, Mayor and Council. What we're looking for is a resolution that would authorize the mayor and the chief of police to execute the equitable sharing agreement and certification between the City of Moline Police Department and our federal government that set forth the requirements for participating in the program, and certify that all receipts and expenditures of the federal forfeiture funds, which is what this is about, property and interest during the prior fiscal year. So we'll be looking for approval for that going forward.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Wentz, seconded by Alderman O'Brien. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Number 2, amendments to the Community Development Block Grant Policies and Procedures Manual. Should be Tess.
Sure. What we're doing here is we're following up and amending our block grant policies and procedures manual, shifting away from the OMB requirements to the CFR requirements in accordance with HUD.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Alderman Wentz, seconded by Alderman Moyer. I think that's what I was hearing.
I think that was a tie.
Okay.
And then I believe KJ's there if there's any questions as well.
Discussion. We have questions on this? No. Hearing none, roll call please. That
Thank you.
was, I literally just did it right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion passes. Number 3, 2022 seasonal staffing. Should be passed.
Sure. What we're doing is we're seeking authorization from the mayor and the city, from the council for the mayor and clerk to execute an agreement with Express Services Inc., who we have done extensive business with in the past. And going forward, there would be no increase in cost to continue using the services of Express Employment Professionals related to filling both temporary and our seasonal staffing needs for fiscal 22.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Alderman Wentz, seconded by Alderman Waldron. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Is there an other this evening, sir?
No, there is none.
All right, so we move to informational. Ms. Miller, Public Works internship.
Yes, good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you tonight. I am presenting this informational item to you to let you know about a student internship that the city's been exploring with the Moline School District. Under Pillar 3, Economy of the Strategic Plan, Objective 3.1 is talent attraction. And this program would meet the goals of exploring workforce development with academic institutions, as well as exploring and establishing apprenticeship and internship opportunities. The aim of this program would be to increase the work readiness experiences for Moline High School students that are interested in the trades, and it would also increase the viable applicant pool for positions within the city of Moline. The proposed program is a 3-tiered set of work readiness experiences with the city, which would be offered to interested juniors and seniors attending Moline High. The experiences would include exposure to 6 different functional areas within the city in both public works and utilities. The completion of certain work readiness certifications, resume and job interview preparation and support, fast-track transition to identified programs at Blackhawk College, and the possibility for future full-time paid employment with the city. Tier 1 would consist of a tour of the 6 functional areas, and those are parks, maintenance and street maintenance, engineering, fleet maintenance, utilities field maintenance, drinking water treatment plant, and wastewater treatment plant. That'd be offered to 25 junior students in 2022. Tier 2 would be a 6-week paid internship, 4 hours per day, Monday through Friday over the summer, and it would rotate through those 6 functional areas. That would be offered to 6 junior students in 2022, with an option for full-day employment and or continuing summer employment at the end of the internship. And participant evaluation would be required for continuing through the program. And finally, Tier 3 would be a 6-week paid internship, 8 hours per day, Monday through Friday over the summer. And that would be focused in one of those 6 functional areas based on the student's interest and the city's need. That would be offered to 3 senior students, and that would begin in 2023. That would also provide an option for full-day employment and continued summer employment at the end of the internship. Participants would participate in an exit interview. They'd receive feedback, resume and job interview preparation, and would also have the opportunity to interview for vacant positions in the city which they were qualified for. Participants would also be provided information on obtaining their CDL, DOT flagger certification, water and wastewater operator and training certification course and test, an opportunity to transfer to the Black Hawk College Highway Construction and Transportation Program with some financial support from the Moline School District. Our plan is to bring forward an intergovernmental agreement once you've had the opportunity to review this program and ask any questions that you might have.
Questions? At this time, maybe not. Say yes.
Is this
Mr. Grant.
the first year that this has happened?
Yes.
It's the first time we're doing this?
Yeah, this is a new startup project for the city.
Okay.
There was, if I could add, Mr. Lodi could speak to this, but he had materials from a previous internship in water that Greg Swanson had led. So there was some background research on what had been done before.
So the water department had done it somewhat before? Or?
Yeah, Mr. Lodi, do you want to answer that?
Yes, Your Honor, in the past, we have done similar programs to this, although they have been with college students. This would be a little bit different in that we would be working with younger students, but I see no issue with introducing these individuals into the workplace. We've communicated this initiative with our teams, and they're open and excited about it. From a employee standpoint, we see this as a win-win for both the students and the city, in that if we're able to bring on any future employees, those would be employees that are actually from the community. So it's a win-win for us.
Thank you, Mr. Lodi. Any other questions at this time? Thank you very much. All right, I see thumbs up. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you. 2021 goal report, Mr. Vitas.
Sure. Mayor and council, it gives me great pleasure, of course, to come back to you 6 months later with the final program and project report for last fiscal year and December 31st. As you know, back in July, we prepared our first attempt to report on projects that had taken place during the first 6 months of the fiscal year, and report to you on progress that had taken place, projects that had started, projects that were underway, and projects that had been completed. This is follow-on work to what was started back then initially, and with the assistance and great efforts of the department directors and Macy, of course, we put together the year-end report, which then culminates, where do we end up? In hopes of being more accountable, in hopes of being more transparent, providing information not only to the mayor and the council, but to the entire staff and the organization. It's also a great tool for the general public, the media, the key stakeholders, the businesses, the citizens, to have an understanding of how their tax dollars are actually being spent and in what regard. So, we had, there's probably 100 pages to this report, and I'm more than happy to meet with each of you at any time to talk about any of these projects, and feel free, of course, to reach out to me or even to department directors should you like. But there was a major accomplishments I want to highlight, and that was the 3-year budget development, the adoption of a 3-year strategic plan at the council's direction, the refunding of the TIF bonds and the savings of $375,000, the issuance of pension obligation bonds, which over the life of the bonds is going to save taxpayers $58.2 million. That's the estimated figure. The implementation of the citywide video surveillance program was started. The library Wi-Fi expansion took place, and I will stop for a minute just to say something about your library. We will celebrate our sesquicentennial in August, and about 2 to 3 weeks after the city was actually incorporated, the library was formed. it may be one of the oldest departments around. So it's 150 years for them in September. So just a heads up on that. They've been around a long time, and this is their third location. Okay? There were 2 prior locations downtown. So then the Butterworth and Carson's Park renovation projects, the new pickleball courts, the Riverside Park pool study, the sewer crossing at John Deere Road, the police mobile office implementation of that unit, you know, and then an updated snow and ice control plan. And this just scratches the surface. This is 12 out of maybe 100 different projects that are going on. Some of them, of course, were all completed. Some of them will continue into fiscal 22. Some of them are programs and they continue beyond that. So I just wanted to share that with you. And if there's any questions, make ourselves available, both myself and the staff, should you have questions. But my compliments to all of you for your direction last year with the 21 budget and with our projects, especially the strategic plan. And my compliments to the staff for doing an outstanding job of delivering results for the city of Moline in the prior fiscal year.
Thank you, and thank you very much for putting it in such a readable order. I found it very helpful to be able to get through this in this manner. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Any questions for Mr. Vita? Mr. Waldron?
I just want to echo that. It's just something that we've wanted for a long time, and I spent a couple hours, a couple days ago, going through the entire document. Excellent. Nice job.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's deserved, believe me. There's a lot going on in this city, all positive too, very positive.
Thank you. No one's come for public comment, Mr. Chief Bolt? Okay, thank you. So we'll close out that meeting and go to our regular meeting. Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Invocation, Mr. Schmidt? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Williams, Alderman Macias,
Present.
Alderman Went,
Present.
Timian,
Present.
Moyer,
Present.
O'Brien,
Present.
Waldron,
Present.
Schmidt.
Present.
Your Honor, request approval of Committee of the Whole Council and Executive Session Minutes of January 25th, 2022. Resolutions. Council Bill 1019-2022, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a professional services agreement with James Duncan and Associates Incorporated, doing business as Codometrics, to develop a form-based code for the Moline Center. Council Bill 1020-2022, a resolution authorizing the Fleet and Facilities Manager to purchase one 2022 Ford Police Interceptor utility vehicle to upfit and operate as a K-9 unit from Sexton Ford for the amount of $39,476. Council Bill 1021-2022, a resolution authorizing approval of change order number 1 and final with 5 Cities Construction Company for project number 1352, 2021 sidewalk replacement program for the amount of $38,820.49. Council Bill 1022-2022, a resolution authorizing the Fleet and Facilities Manager to approve change order numbers 7358 and 7359 with Sutphin Corporation for the amount of $26,801.22. Council Bill 1023-2022, a resolution authorizing the Fleet and Facilities Manager to purchase one gusher pump with installation from Power Process Equipment Incorporated for the amount of $19,878.
Your Honor, I move to approve the consent agenda. Second.
All right, motion by Alderman O'Brien, seconded by Alderman Went. Roll call, please.
Alderman Schmidt,
Aye.
Williams, Macias,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Timian,
Aye.
Moyer,
Aye.
O'Brien,
Aye.
Waldron,
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, and that motion passes. Non-consent agenda resolutions. Council Bill 1008-2022, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to licensing agreements for 2022 permit-approved applications for use of public right-of-way or city-owned property.
Motion to approve 1008.
Is there a motion by Alderman Waldron,
Second.
second by Alderman O'Brien? Discussion? Mr. Schmidt?
Could I request a little further update from Mr. Vitas regarding the discussion we had last week?
Sure, I'd be happy to bring that up. I mean, one of the suggestions following last week's meeting, seems like last night, but last week's meeting, was the inclusion of a restoration guarantee or deposit as recommended by the interim Public Works Director, Brad Fink, based on his own experience elsewhere. And that would be an additional requirement for any of the license agreement holders, so that as we go forward with the issuance of right-of-way permits for physical work, this, based on square footage of the area affected, a deposit would be required, and then it would be withheld until such time that the right-of-way was restored, which seems to be the biggest issue, is trying to get them in the field to actually, once they've done their work, to come back and restore the right-of-way to, its original condition. So it's an additional requirement.
Your Honor, was that related to 1008 or is that 4001, the right-of-way? The 1008 is
Actually,
the,
it's 10:08.
oh, this is a
It
license
is.
agreement.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Any further questions or comments? Yes, Mr. Wynn?
Yeah, there seemed to be some confusion on licensing versus permitting, the administrative versus the
Right.
legislative, and so.
Yeah, going forward, we really want to get this off the ground, but we also recognize in my discussions with Margaret that, and others on staff, that the confusion between licensing agreements and the purpose behind them, whether they're licensing agreements for, let's say, for public-owned property, like our parking lots or any other public facilities that we lease out, that's typically a license agreement. Typically with, right-of-way permits for contractors, or for that matter, public or utilities performing work, it is typically not a licensed agreement that issues. It is a right-of-way permit that gets issued. At least that's the experience we've all had elsewhere. So we're going to come forward with modifications to that effect that we can adopt at a future date.
Okay, yeah, I just think there needs to be clarification, because I think
I agree.
we've got some staff who think it's, and some staff that think it's this way, and we have no flipping idea what was happening, so, yeah, that would be great for
Yeah, we
clarification.
will bring that back. We will bring that back as an amendment to the ordinance.
Do you guys have a time frame for that? Just,
With everything going on, give us a month or two. Yeah.
Actually, we were looking at July. We have
July.
a list. Yeah.
Oh, is it in July?
It is in July, but
We have a long
it could
list of
happen sooner, but
amendments.
that's what we're looking at. And we have looked at that, and we understand, and we have kind of clarified too, and that working team met. Margaret can speak a little more to that too, but
Yeah, maybe March.
we do know exactly what you're saying and prepared to bring that forward.
would it be possible if you shared that list? Knowing that it can change, but I think that
Yeah.
might help us not asking for things, be like,
Right.
oh, no, it is
Yeah.
July 15th is when we're supposed to be talking.
Yeah.
Cool, just-
Sure.
I'd like to ask you to make sure we got the comprehensive code update, was, what the heck?
It's the update, comprehensive code
It's
and
Calendar.
calendar. Yes, it's a
Thank you.
calendar of.
Yes, as well as a copy of what we shared, Ms. Miller shared today. the
Sure.
public works. We can distribute several items.
Okay, let me make a note for myself too. Okay. So the code amendment calendar. Code up.
Anything further on this item? Hearing none, roll call please.
Alderman Schmidt,
Aye.
Macias,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Timian,
Aye.
Moyer,
Aye.
O'Brien,
Aye.
Waldron.
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, and that motion passes. First reading ordinances. Council Bill 4001-2022, a special ordinance granting a permanent waiver to Section 28-3200A and Section 35-4218 of the Moline Code of Ordinances, a $9,984 payment into the sidewalk fund in lieu of construction of sidewalk along 10th Avenue for property located at 1002 27th Street, Moline. And that is all I have this evening, Your Honor.
Thank you. Miscellaneous business. Mr.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Mr. Wynn?
Nothing on.
Mr. Timian?
Nothing, Your Honor?
Mr. Moore? O'Brien?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Waldron?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Okay.
Oh, that's a
This is like
first.
very Twilight Zone.
Yeah, start to get worried.
Or well, I have stuff, so it's not much. Just to let you know, if you hadn't seen online, the posting a listening post. Getting back to that pattern of engagement. This Thursday, 6 p.m. in the Bronze Room at the library. There's also an online link. I'll have a Zoom room set up for people to log on that way. And it's Fourth Ward's turn, so Mr. Timian will be there. And again, the plan is to continue that once a quarter. So you'll be up in the spring, summer, Mr. Moy.
Right. Your Honor,
Yes.
will you be reporting that?
I haven't
could we?
typically, but
Okay.
I could if
Yeah,
Well-
that'd be great. My daughter's got a basketball game.
We
but
could record the Zoom meeting.
The Zoom, there you go.
the Zoom meeting.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay.
And then I am in discussion with Mr. Brecht just to put it on your calendar. State of the City is scheduled. Speech is scheduled for March 14th, but the details will be forthcoming. Mr. Brecht is in charge of that, so I wanted to get those on your calendars.
Say March 14th.
Yep. And I did just see in my mail today. There's a Men's Health Month. Is the month of June, and there's a special day, June 17th. If any of you are interested in seeing that from the organization that supports that, given that this council is predominantly male, and you might have interest with some of the issues that they mention in their letter, I'm happy to share that with you all. And if you're interested in doing anything for that month, any sort of proclamation or what have you, there's definitely time to get that done. So, that is all I have. So we will go into executive session.
Your Honor, I make a motion that the council convene in an executive session for the purpose of discussion of review of executive session minutes 5 IL 1/2C21 and employment compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees 5 ILCS 120/2C1.
Okay.
Motion by Alderman Waldron, second by Went. Roll call.
Alderman Schmidt.
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Wen.
Aye.
Timian.
Aye.
Moyer.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Wald.
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays.
All right, move to executive session.